Okay, guys, without further ado, I want to talk about internet trolls, okay? HOCD and internet trolls. And what you have to remember is when you're on YouTube or you're on any other platform, there's always going to be nasty people, okay? And very often these people have got issues of their own. And, you know, some of these people have had hard lives and they're looking to take out their frustrations on other people. And what you could understand about internet trolls regarding HOCD is that the majority of them are, you know, with all due respect, gay men or gay women. And things have happened to them in their lives. And what's the old saying? Misery loves company. So there was one guy some years ago who was a gay guy, and he got tortured by ignorant straight people. Okay? And his mission in life from there on in was to torture straight people, even innocent people, to make them pay for what's happened to them in their life. And, you know, it almost borders on psychotic in a way. But okay, let's go over it. What are the types of things these people say? Okay, this is the type of things they say. There's no such thing as HOCD. You are gay. Why don't you just admit it? And blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. Okay, the same old script, the same old words, day after day after day, month after month, year after year, saying the same thing, right? And of course, your OCD then makes them a doctor. It gives them a PhD, as if they know what they're talking about. When the truth of the matter is, these internet trolls, they don't know about pure OCD. They don't realize that gay people themselves have HOCD, sexual orientation OCD, excuse me, and they're afraid of being straight. They don't think about that. They don't think about intrusive thoughts. They don't realize that you are not homophobic, and what's actually going on is it's ego dystonic. It goes against the values of who you actually are. It's about a loss of identity. A loss of identity. And let me tell you something about myself, and let me tell you something about a friend of mine. When I was 9 years old, I realized, or I was told, that my father wasn't my father, and that somebody else was my father. So my 6 sisters and my brother before me had one father, and I thought he was my father, by the way, only to find out that I got a different father and I'm kind of like the odd one out. And my actual father had a daughter and 2 sons. So all of a sudden now, my sisters and my brother are busted down to half sisters and half brother. And I've got half sisters, a half sister and a half brothers on my father's side. So I didn't know who I was anymore. And even though I took it well at the time, it caused serious problems for me psychologically, I believe. A buddy of mine, check this out. A buddy of mine was 14 years old, and he found out that his parents were really his grandparents. And he found out that his sister was really his mother. Can you imagine what that did to him? His whole world come crashing down. He started stealing cars. He started getting into trouble. And he wasn't who he thought he was. Now, with people with HOCD, it's my belief that deep down, what the fear really is about a fear of not being who you thought you were. Right? Identity. So when these internet trolls are attacking you for being homophobic and attacking you, you know, as I said, misery loves company, they're attacking you. They are taking everything personally. When really it's just about a loss of identity. What about them themselves? Most of them are gay. What if they woke up one day and had an intrusive thought, what if I'm straight? Their world would come crashing down. But they don't think about that. They just think about hurting other people. That's most of them. Although I do think that there are some internet trolls out there who know about pure OCD. They know about the way it works, and they just want to hurt other people. There's no such thing as HOCD. It's not in the DSM. Blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I read these things, these abusive comments on my YouTube. And no disrespect to the individual. I'm sure they got good sides the same as everyone else. But I read this and I think to myself, you are the most boring cunt ever in the history of humanity. Predictable and boring. But, and there's a big but, for somebody with HOCD and they run face first into this, they're going to get triggered. Because you can have, 999 people reassuring you, which obviously shouldn't be happening anyway. But you can have 999 people saying you're not gay. And you could have one person, like the internet troll, that says you are gay. And your OCD is going to give that guy a PhD, make him an expert, and you're going to start freaking out. Jesse, somebody online said, I'm gay and I don't know what to do. Okay, here's what you do. When you learn response prevention, which is the most important part of OCD treatment, in my opinion, okay? When you learn response prevention, it's kind of like you're learning the tools necessary to deal with triggers. Because what's a trigger? It's an exposure. It's an exposure that you weren't planning. That's what a trigger is. And that's what internet trolls do to you, is they trigger you. They are giving you an exposure. If you turned up at a gunfight with a water pistol, I don't know how to tell you this, but, it's not going to end well for you. Right? So if you turn up at a gunfight without knowing response prevention, you're going to get triggered. So you need to learn to know what to do. This is why getting therapy with organizations such as NoCD, NOCD, you could download the app for your phone. If you're in the UK, there's an organization called OCD Excellence. There's BetterHelp online. There's loads of different places you can get help, right? When you learn response prevention, you can deal with it in the moment. Okay? So there you are online. There he is, Joe Blogs, or whatever he calls himself, or asshole 131 or whatever. There's no such thing as HOCD. It is you are gay, just accept it. Blah, 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 blah. I'm a fucking bore. Same old, same old, same old. Right? Okay. You feel triggered. Okay? The anxiety is running through your body. You're feeling breathless. And all the rest of it. And this is what you do. And this is just off the top of my head for the sake of this video. You know, you need proper treatment, obviously. But I would say allow the anxiety to be there. Let me repeat that. Allow the anxiety to be there. Want the anxiety, as Reed Wilson says. That's a good book right there. Stopping the Noise in Your Head by Reed Wilson. Allow the anxiety to be there. In fact, want the anxiety. As twisted as the logic is, want it. Say to yourself, come on, anxiety. Come on, give me more. Give me more. Give yourself permission to feel it. And when you do feel it, go about the rest of your day as you normally would. Live your life as you normally would. Because living your life as you would have before OCD is very important, because you're not allowing OCD to derail you. Because once you start sitting round, ruminating, wondering if what the guy said is really true, wondering if your intrusive thoughts mean something, because thoughts don't have to mean anything, but, you know, having this condition makes you think that they mean something. Once you start derailing yourself and acquiescing to the internet troll, you're running face first into trouble. So I would say allow the anxiety to be there. Use it as an exposure. Don't try to figure anything out. Let me repeat that. Do not try to figure anything out. Don't mentally, don't mentally suppress anything. Do not distract yourself from the anxiety. Okay? Because once you start using distraction techniques, pushing thoughts away, keeping yourself busy to try and block things out, researching, going on the internet, looking up stuff, asking people for reassurance, reassuring yourself, saying things, oh no, I'm not gay, I'm definitely not gay, I'm not gay, I'm definitely not gay. You know, once you start doing all that stuff, you're not feeling the full effects of the anxiety. And the goal is to feel the full effects of the anxiety. Okay? You stay in the ring. Imagine yourself like a boxer. Okay? You get into the ring and you stay with your opponent. So your opponent gives you a couple of shots. Bang, bang. Okay? You have to teach yourself that you can handle it. Because once you start shouting from inside the ring, Jesse, I'm getting out the ring. This guy is hitting me. Right? Once you start doing that, that's when you are not allowing yourself to have the full experience. Because the amygdala, the brain, learns through actual experience. You've got to teach your amygdala something different. Let me repeat that. You've got to treat your amygdala, which is the part of the brain that causes distress. You've got to teach it something different. The amygdala works through pairings. It pairs two things together. Like, for example, if you're a child and you get bitten by a dog, all of a sudden now your amygdala has paired dog with danger. So later in life, you develop a phobia. You can't be near dogs. You start getting panic attacks because your amygdala has linked the event of getting bitten with, and pain with dogs. So your amygdala basically needs to be rewired. And it's not going to be rewired if you were distracting yourself from the anxiety. So internet trolls, is what I'm trying to say, are actually really good. They serve a purpose if you know what you're doing. A lot of people come online fancying themselves as OCD experts, and they try triggering people to expose them, right? But the thing is, if you're being exposed to something and you don't know how to do response prevention, like I said, that's like entering a karate tournament without knowing karate, or entering a gunfight with a fucking water pistol. You need to teach yourself response prevention. So basically what you're doing is you're learning how to give up your rituals and compulsions. So, yes, I'm lengthening this out longer than I should do, I guess. But basically, I think internet trolls, in their own way, are a godsend. They're not very nice people. They're very troubled people. And some of them have what I would say, they have a lack of empathy and a lack of compassion towards certain people. But really, if you confronted an internet troll in real life, they wouldn't be so tough. I remember somebody confronting me some time ago online over something. Oh, you've got all these people fooled and this, and, as if I'm some sort of fake guru or something, And I think I can't remember, but I think I said something to them like, why don't you come over to my place or meet me, in a nearby park or somewhere where there's no witnesses, and you can, teach me the error of my ways. No answer. No answer, because they wouldn't confront you physically. I mean, these people are hiding behind a computer screen. What does that tell you when they're hiding behind a computer screen? But your OCD has made them a fucking doctor. It's made them a PhD, that they know what they are talking about when what they are doing is holding a mirror of your fear up to you. It's like they're holding a mirror towards you and reflecting your fear back to you. So I would say, in a nutshell, when you feel anxiety, do not look for distractions or escape exits. Feel the anxiety fully and live your life without distracting yourself, by the way. Live your life like you would normally live it anyway. Say, for example, you got your day planned out, right? Say, for example, okay, in a couple of hours now, I got the gym. And after the gym, I got to go over to a buddy's house and, so on and so forth, right? This is what can happen with some people. They're on the internet. They're on YouTube. They're somewhere else. Internet troll comes along. You are not gay. Sorry. You are gay. You are not straight. you were this and you were that, and there's no such thing as HOCD. Oh, fucking boring, boring, boring. But you get triggered. Then you're off to the races trying to figure out, it starts the whole ball rolling again. Because maybe you were all right that day. But all of a sudden, I must be gay because he said I'm gay. My OCD has made him, a doctor. And all of a sudden, now I got to sit around thinking about this and ruminating about this. So I don't bother going to the gym. I don't bother going over to see my buddies. I'm sitting in the house thinking about this over and over. Fuck it, I'll go to bed. I can't get out of bed. All the rest of it. Ruined your day. Here's what to do. Say, for example, you get triggered. Allow yourself to be anxious. Say to yourself, this is only anxiety. I can handle a bit of anxiety. And I'm going to continue the rest of my day. So, you're feeling anxious. Okay, don't distract. Don't get rid of it. Let it be there. Go and get your gym clothes. Put your gym clothes in your gym bag. Feeling anxious. Walk up the gym or drive to the gym. Feeling anxious. Do you throw weights around? Feeling anxious. Get on the treadmill. Feeling anxious. Go to your buddy's house. Feeling anxious. And what will happen is, as time goes along, as long as, the anxiety will naturally go down, because anxiety always peaks. It always goes up. But the problem, and this is a great, great point to bring up. When people feel anxious, they are petrified that the anxiety is never going to stop. That they're going to be stuck that way forever. Forever and ever and ever. But this is not true. This is the furthest from the truth. You can't be anxious forever, because we're not built that way. So the anxiety will peak, especially when you're not distracted yourself from it, which you shouldn't do, and it'll eventually go down. So you leave the house feeling anxious, you go to the gym feeling anxious, you go to your buddy's house feeling anxious, you come home feeling anxious. Don't distract, allow it to be there. Without trying to figure anything out, by the way, remember response prevention. Stop trying to figure out, because the thing is, people have thoughts, right? But what happens is they have these thoughts and they think that those thoughts have to mean something just because they had a fucking thought. I mean, intrusive thoughts are not just anxiety-provoking, mind. You could have funny intrusive thoughts. Have you ever been in a situation where you've burst out laughing at a really inappropriate time? The thought just popped into your head. There's thoughts you conjure up, meaning you think on purpose. And there's thoughts that pop up. As that gorgeous OCD therapist says, I can't remember her name now. There's thoughts you conjure up and there's thoughts you pop up. The thoughts you conjure up that you think on purpose, you've got control over. Thoughts that pop up on their own, you don't have jurisdiction over those. You don't have control over those. So you've got to deal with them when they happen. Which is where, response prevention comes in. Anyway, I'm blabbing on and on and on and on as I normally do. I've kind of lost my train of thought at this point. This is the problem with being a motor mouth. This is the problem with loving the sound of your own voice, is that you go off on tangents. But I always like to do a quick recap, and sometimes I do many recaps. Because people need to get it straight. Because what happens is when people are listening to these videos, they're in such a panic that they're not digesting the information. So I'll recap the whole fucking thing just to try and cement it into your head. Okay. Point 1. Contact an organization called HOCD. Right? You can download the app for your phone and you can get yourself some serious treatment. Okay? Or contact another professional organization. You could, sort things out online. 2. When you get triggered by compassionless, psychologically troubled internet trolls, your OCD has made them a doctor. It's given them a PhD. And you freak out and get anxious. Okay? So what you do with that anxiety? You feel it fully. You feel it fully. Do not try to work anything out. Do not try to look for certainty. Do not do any compulsions, because what are compulsions? They release valves. They're escape exits. They're distractions. Do not. I'll tell you an example. Can you imagine I put a hot spoon into a cup of coffee, right? And I put the hot spoon into a cup of coffee and I put it on your hand, because people do that, don't they, for a joke. You pull your hand away, right? What I'm saying to you is don't pull your hand away. If I put a hot spoon on your hand, teach yourself, it's obviously not going to burn your skin. It's just very warm. You know what I mean? Just let the spoon go on your hand and don't wince. Don't move your hand. That's what you're doing in a way. You're feeling the anxiety fully. Right? Do you get that? Is that hard for you to understand? Feel it fully. And once that happens, go about your day as you normally would. Right? That's what you need to do. Because once you start, what's that saying in Star Wars? Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Once you start looking for escape exits and distractions, because you're not feeling the anxiety fully, you are not teaching your amygdala anything new. So the amygdala, the part of your brain, call it the OCD brain for argument's sake, for the sake of the fucking video, right? You are not teaching your OCD brain any different. So the OCD brain doesn't get rewired. So that means the next time you bump into another idiot online, same thing. Over and over and over and over and over. So anyway, I've got ERP videos on my channel, and other people have got ERP videos as well. But in truth, that's a stepping stone. What you really need is professional help. Okay? So anyway, guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. I know I've lengthened it out and made, a half an hour podcast or whatever it is I've done when I could have said it in 2 minutes. I just like the sound of my own voice. Yes. Anyway, and I'll just leave you with one thing, because I love Shere Khan from Jungle Book. He's my one of my favorite characters in motion picture history is Shere Khan. And I just love how suave he is and how polite. And do you remember that bit in Jungle Book where Shere Khan says to Kaa the snake, what's he do? He rings the bell first, and by pulling his tail, and he says, "Forgive me for interrupting anything. I just dropped by." And the snake tries to hypnotize him, which is basically, when you think about it, what internet trolls are trying to do, what OCD tries to do, gaslighting. OCD tries to gaslight you into believing its lies. Internet trolls capitalize on this. Right? So the snake in Jungle Book is, I sing myself to sleep. Let me show you how it works. And Shere Khan smacks him on the nut and says, oh, I can't be bothered with that. I've no time for that sort of nonsense. And he says, maybe another time. And he says, maybe. And he tweaks his nose with his claw. Brilliant. And so when an internet troll comes along and makes you anxious, feel the anxiety, but think, do you know, I can't be bothered to work this out. I'm going to be like Shere Khan. I can't be bothered with this. I'm just going to go and live my life. And basically that's it. Anyway, guys, I hope that I've helped you with this very long video. And I just hope the audio quality is all right. And take care. I'm gonna come out with another video very soon, hopefully. So I'm actually working on one at the moment. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Love you all. Bye for now. Bye.